hidden.
the number of fighters
Forgotten.
correct, the number of rangers
This
correct.
is Harbor Town.
Yeah, and this way you know what all of that stuff is.
Harbor Town is an all-new series from Miniature Building Authority, the leader in tabletop gaming scenery. Unique, flexible, and playable, Harbor Town will take your games to a new destination.
What discourages me about humanity is these crazy people who are gathering together on top of one another, no masks, no nothing.
Well, it kind of
And
proves
just,
that
I don't know,
Darwin-
hoping for the best.
Yeah, evolution works, so to speak.
It's, unfortunately, they bring it home with them and kill grandma.
That's the scary bit. Yeah.
That's the piece that's the most frustrating. Is that how can they be that goddamn stupid? But,
Takes some, well,
anyway.
biology. A lot of people don't know what a virus is. Yeah. It's tough. Yeah.
Speaking of dice, I could swear I've seen a 12-sided dice and an 8-sided dice. The 12-sided is numbered 1 to 4 3 separate times, and the 8-sided is 1 to 4 twice. So you're not dealing with that stupid caltrop that you step on and go into orbit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the original ones were literally pointed. So when you step on one of those, boy, you really know that was not. You could actually penetrate the skin. You put your full weight on it.
Oh yeah, that will cut through really well. Yeah. And now they have
you're all
metal
upset
dice
because
too.
you probably broke the tip on the dice.
Yeah.
To say nothing.
But they have metal dice too, so yeah.
The current thing I'm going through is going into the casita and building Lego.
Yeah, then you have to worry if you spread them on the floor, they work like the caltrops, like D-Force too. So.
The blog is out the first edition uncensored. I've been putting them there. I've put together and torn apart 8 or 9 or 10 models. Once you get the hang of it, it goes pretty fast. The first couple were enough. Now that I've got the swing of it, I can take one apart, put it together, take it apart, and do another one all in the same day. Right. Get my hands. The arthritis in my fingers are not swollen all the time. Are the dice that are showing right now Q Workshop or no? Ah, from a distance, I can see them being confused with Q. Q Workshop
Yeah.
from a distance. Yeah. Q Workshop
Q-
dice are quite nice.
Yeah.
Something else. Oh, I
I've
don't know
never
about
seen
that.
them
Poland.
large. So, yeah.
Did you know that your Lego pieces come from Poland?
Oh, they do. Well, the
No.
company is
Well,
from
they may
Denmark.
be. The older you get, the more you'll have that feeling. Trust me. Boom. Yeah,
Yep.
somewhere.
He's hiding. Yep.
Somewhere down there.
Hi.
You?
Here's the whole time. Can you hear me
Oh,
now?
okay.
So we're all
Holy
muted.
shit. So we're talking the whole time. All right, so you couldn't
Yep.
hear me. Can you hear me now? All right. See, I was right. There was something I forgot to do.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, I was saying
That's it.
that on the thing. So, so we had a bending over Len Lakofka. We have Anna Meyer and Mike Bridges tonight. Sorry. So you
Hope
heard
y'all
everyone
got
else,
that
but you didn't
announcement.
hear me. So
Yep.
deities tonight. Man, there are a lot of deities. There are a lot. Thank you, Blue Box, so very much for that raid coming in. I really appreciate it. All right, all right. So I'll be right back, guys. Can you just take it over and talk about deities for a second? Generally, I got a sun
Okay.
issue. I'll be right
All
back.
right.
Yeah. This. Yeah, Mike. You're the
Okay. Well,
resident expert here. Yeah.
I have a feeling we're going to cover a lot of Sewell deities early on.
And there we really have the expert.
And then, yeah, so good choice of topic today.
Yeah.
While we're waiting on Jay, though, maybe switch gears real quick. And I'll say that I have a blog post to go along with today's topic.
Oh, I haven't seen that
So
one yet.
I will post that up here shortly. Thought I'd entertain everybody.
Soon there will be
It's
no one watching the show because
deity
they will
appropriate.
be, yeah, they will all go into your blog here. So yeah.
So everyone have fun with that.
Awesome.
Also, after using Blogger for 10 years, they decided to change the interface on it.
Duty called.
I don't know if I like that or not.
Yeah. Yep, Mike just said it. He had just posted a blog post on deities, so now we will lose half our audience at least while they're reading that.
Nah, that's awesome. New gods, new
Yeah,
comic.
it's great.
So
No, it's
Yep.
just a comic. It's just a comic.
awesome.
Oh, even better.
That is even better. Absolutely. Sorry, guys. I had a little son issue that I had to take care of. It's taken care of right now. So I'm going to ask this question right off the bat to Leonard, if that's okay, Leonard.
Yeah. He's got it.
What is your favorite non-Sul'Luise deity in the Greyhawk pantheon?
Well, one of the conscious decisions I made after I did the Sul Pantheon was to use it exclusively on Lendor Isle.
Right.
So I didn't bring any of the Iridian gods over, which, of course, there should be tons of them. There should be many people on the island who worship Iridian gods. But I decided I wanted to play test all of my gods. So I said, well, the hell with it. So I didn't bring them over.
Okay.
So
That's a good question. I got you.
everything on Lendor is Sul, unless, of course, it's a dwarven god or an elven god or a couple of the others.
Okay.
I thought I was just looking through the paperwork from L5, which is Croton, which is in the center of Lendor Isle. And I wanted to see what I did on L4, but apparently I didn't print the stuff from L4.
Aquaman is in L4, isn't he?
L4 has got a trip from the mainland to Restonford.
Okay.
And creates a party of adventurers on this sea voyage. So different people get added, and one or two of them have major quests. There's a cleric involved that has a major quest, searching for something. He's supposed to return something to somebody, and he forms up with this group of people. But I have to print it.
So Len had really avoided the answering the question.
Oh, what was the question?
Very, that was so skillful. Yeah.
But that's okay.
Len, you should run for office. That was brilliant. Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yep.
What's your you still can have a favorite. Do you have a favorite deity in the main?
Outside of Sul?
Yeah.
No.
Oh, that is great.
That's an awesome answer. That was great.
Scarlet Brotherhood, at least. Yep.
Well, now, if you're talking about not demi-human gods,
Okay, that's fine.
I really like Clangend and Silverbeard.
So do I. Love them.
Yeah.
Love them. So much I have a specialty priest of them. Absolutely love them.
Yep.
Great call. That's fair.
In all of the time I've played with Lendor, I don't think I've had a player play a gnome. So the gnome gods just don't come into it.
It's okay.
I've listed a few gnomes in various modules and listed who the god was, but I never had a player play a gnome and therefore have a god from the gnome. Well, the whole history of deities, when you first started with D&D, you had a cleric and you worshiped somebody and nobody knew who the hell it was. It was that simple. And so the first step was to try to take earth gods and use them. So you could use the Egyptian mythos or the Viking mythos or Greek or Roman, but it just didn't work really, because it was, after all, an earth god, an earth mythos. So that's when I had my players playing various gods, and I said, today you're going to pick your god. I know you've been praying for spells and we've been wondering where the hell they've been coming from. So now it's time to pick. So we had Egyptian gods, we had Celtic gods, we had, this menagerie of gods. And I thought, this just doesn't work.
You had the fiend. You had what do you call it? Before Legends and Lore, it was called the Deities and Demigods book. That's it. You're pulling stuff out of there. Yeah.
Well, Gygax had done in the original printout with the maps from.
Well, Gygax's two original deities. Yeah.
Hmm?
Gygax's two original deities was Odin and Thor, right? That's who he played with to start with.
Could be.
Yeah, in the campaign. So, yeah, gods, demigods, and heroes. That's it. Yeah, absolutely. So it's cool that it's kind of developed because I started with the deities and demigods. I still have finished gods that I use to this day, and a lot of other ones do. And then they made them up. So your soul gods came before the Iridian gods in publication. You had them before, but then they got published afterwards.
No, the Iridian gods were in the original.
Okay, so they were
Greyhawk.
They were an original. They were back in the original days.
So,
okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
You don't have the. I don't see the original. The black and white one.
Whoops. See, I did hit the wrong button. I just hit the wrong button. I just hit a re-raid button. My bad. See, every time I hit one wrong button a show. Sorry about that. So, look what I got together here. This is what I got there for this discussion. I got my From the Ashes has all the deities in it, right? Best of the Dragon Volume 3 for all the demi-human deities. Greyhawk Adventures has all the deities in it, right? All the photocopies from all the articles from the deities, from Sul and Lendor Sul and Iridian, all in here. Then all my specialty priest write-ups for both evil and regular, all ready to go. So, why don't we see who's got their favorites? We talk about some of them, Len, and then we concentrate on the Suls first, so you got to go, and then we'll move on from there. How's that sound? Sound like a plan?
Well, the great thing about Best of the Dragon, the one you just showed, number 3.
Yep.
It lists the issue of the dragon in case you have the Dragon Archive.
Mm-hmm.
You can look this stuff up. Most of these were written by Roger Moore.
Yeah. I like the Best of Dragon Volume 3. It's one of the best compilations of all of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's got some great articles in it.
Yeah.
I tend to give them away. I got so many of them, so I've given, and Rocks wins them every time, which is really the bizarre thing. So, same person wins them. So
these go back to issues number 58 and 60, Dragon number.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
59.
61. Oh.
Probably 61.
Yeah, because you got all the halflings, dwarves, orcs, all that. So, Mike, what's your favorite Sully's deity to have to discuss with Len?
Favorite? Oh, without a doubt, it's Cord.
All right.
Oh yeah.
Damn, you stole mine.
Sorry.
He has so many children he doesn't know what to do.
That's my favorite article to read because there's just so much going on in there.
Yep. Cord the
Cord
Brawler.
will mate with just about any female.
Cord is great. We have a specialty priest of Cord in our game, and we have it set up. And Cord the Brawler has a very limited spell selection, but it's just a great story. You're absolutely correct. So he's got he bears a sword Kelmar, right, Leonard?
That sounds right.
Electrified +5 weapon that's dancing. Yeah. So and Falcon, you pronounce it Falcon or Falcon? For his Falcon is his father, which I love too. So a little bit about your Cord background. When you decided to make him up?
He's only a major god because he's one of the most worshipped. Is the reason he's been elevated to a greater god as opposed to a lesser god. The only other two are Lendor and Legion.
Yeah. Here's my question. The idea behind the differences between Cord and Lurg. Lurg's
Well,
more.
Lurg originally was called Grell, of course.
Mhm.
And since there was a
Yeah.
monster called Grell, Gygax went and renamed him Lurg. That's where that name came from. But all of the others, I think, were as I originally named them. On all of those articles, I gave credit to Gygax as having the copyright because I wanted to be sure that it was his game after all.
Oh yeah.
So I gave him copyright title.
I
And then,
think
of course, he proofed them all.
Lurg has got a beast of strength, right? Mike, moreover, where Cord is just the brawler. So, but
Yeah,
Yeah, just straight on.
Cord is,
like
Cord is God of War, and then he isn't the God of War. You know?
okay.
But certainly, if there's a battle to be had and a woman to be laid, he's there.
And I noticed that Cord he's more with weapon fighting. Lurg is more changing his changing into an animal and fighting. You know, he could change into a K-bear, a giant alligator, a snake. So he fights with his bare hands. It looks like.
There's a lot of shape changers in the Sewell pantheon, and I think he draws a lot from on earthly mythos with that, which is cool.
Okay.
Yeah.
But they are both chaotic neutral, right? So they're both of that chaos alignment. So I like them both.
I had created one other god, which was Aquaman, and it got lost in the shuffle. It didn't show up in the world of Greyhawk. But I originally designed him, and why he got flushed down the toilet, I don't know. But he did.
Well, if I can hazard a guess, is it because we have Zerbo and Ostrom, who are two nautical
and
gods?
then Aquaman's the third one.
Yeah.
Could it be the name too? I'm sorry, right? Because like we don't want to get in trouble with DC Comics.
Yeah.
Could it be?
I don't know.
But then they could have renamed him something that like they did with so many other stuff.
Somewhere it got lost in the shuffle.
The great thing is that Dragon's Foot put it on Dragon's Foot in your two publications, L4 and L5, right? So it's out there. We have it. I know we've discussed him in a couple of other shows too. So he exists, which is a good thing. So Carlos wanted to ask. We'll get right off the start here. Carlos wanted me to ask you about Lydia.
Well, yeah, Lydia. I felt as though there had to be a. She's kind of a sage in her own way. Music and whatever the rest of
Light.
her thing is.
Mm-hmm. Prose.
What all do I have with her?
Goddess of music, light, and daylight.
Yeah.
She's literally
it's kind of an interesting portfolio in its own strange way. As I recall, I used her as a sage too, I thought.
I'll start his up right there.
Yeah, I agree. I think there's knowledge in there. Knowledge, music.
I'll find it somewhere. He's in here somewhere. Oh, here's Lydia.
She's I cannot think of, and I imagine there's bards.
Good musicians, sages, and scholars.
Yeah. So she fits a good thing as far as research goes, and bards types, and definitely a neutral good alignment as well. So it's a very benign deity, in the Sewell pantheon, which is cool. So, all right. So, all right. Joe Block asked a question. We got to. Do you consider the common gods, Bakab, Jormi, as part of the Sewell pantheon?
No.
Okay. There you go. Just flat out no. That came from.
Well, you've got different people with their finger in the pie. So every now and then somebody dredges up something and throws it where they want to throw it. Certainly after the wars, which I contend never happened, but that's neither here nor there. The war screwed up everything, but Gygax had lost control of the company by then. So it all goes back to,
Yeah.
I should have been consulted, but you know,
Well, some of these they've taken Ouija, and moved her over as a main into the main pantheon almost, and Zerbo as well, right? Really, they've moved a couple over into the main
But
pantheon.
can't that just reflect that they got more widespread worship
I think
in
so.
general populations? That means that they moved from a specific pantheon to kind of. But on the other hand, that begs the question: what is a pantheon, and how does that work, so to speak? And what kind of benefits are that for worshippers and for the deities themselves? That's one of the, to me, very interesting questions. How that works.
Ouija is one of the most popular deities we have in our campaign, by far.
because she's got her portfolio is both death and
Magic.
protection of the dead.
Great combo.
But that gives her control of a lot of undead if she wants to take control of undead. And then, of course, she's the goddess of magic. So the two big groups of
I'm trying to find her in the list here. Yeah.
So does that make her the choice of necromancers?
Yeah, I would say so.
Yeah.
I would say so. And a matter of fact, if you look at the Ouija specialty priestess or priest, they in the one they actually get limited necromancer spells if you use that in second edition. So not in a first edition one, but in a second edition one. Yeah. So I'm a fan of that. So I gotta ask. Well, John, what's the? You should be more specific. What's the pic? Why is there a picture of Clint Eastwood in your list? Is what you should be asking, because that's what it is. It's the man with no name, really, with the gun. So we'll get to the. That's Merlin's, by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a special. Yes, exactly. We will get to Merlin's tonight. Another favorite deity of mine. I don't know. What do you think? You want to ask? What about?
I was thinking, Killinen with the swords. Is he Sewell?
No.
Okay, good. Then, yeah, I was just going to make sure that
we have to talk about Kellenen tonight.
Yeah,
Stolak wants us to ask that already before the show even started.
We cover him.
Yeah,
if he's because I'm flying. I'm sorry. I'm flying by the seat of my pants.
That's okay.
Because I have a deadline tomorrow, so I'm doing a little bit of doodling in Photoshop at the same time here.
So, Stolak, I promise we'll get to that. Fortabo is the human. Fortubo, yes, is a dwarf. Yeah. Is a human. Looks like a dwarf, kind of, right?
Right. He is consider it kind of a fetish.
Okay.
He's very much friends with dwarven gods, and if it were up to him, he would have lots of dwarven worshippers, and he does have some, but he has human worshippers as well. God of the mountains and the streams, or whatever the hell it is.
Stone metals and mountains, and yeah.
Bring me your miners.
According to the article, 75% dwarf, 20% human, and 5% gnome worshippers. According to the article in the Dragon, so it's a good mix because there's a lot of races that kind of are missing deities in main pantheons, and this one at least has a coverage, because you can have you have Alana for elves that can even be covered, right, Mike? You can have others. Ula is another one that can be covered with the dwarves and gnomes and halflings, and the Fortabo follows that as well. So yeah, definitely. But he's really not a god of. It says stone, metals, and mountains. I guess he's a mining god as well. Hey, Tombstone, what's going on?
There's a certain collection of these Sewell gods that are commoner type occupational deities, I would call them.
Okay.
Blurred, Fortubo.
Well, what I
Rome.
enjoyed sticking in on Fortubo was I had a player character who was, I allowed dwarven clerics to be players. And
Smart.
by the strict rules of D&D, that's not supposed to be the case, but he's listed in the text of August 1984 Dragon that for Dobfur, D-O-B-F-U-R, was the high priest. And there's only one high priest for Tubo at a time, and he was it. So I snuck that in, thereby legitimizing dwarven clerics for all those who wish to have them.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Dude,
You have to sneak this shit in the back door.
I understand 100%, Leonard, on that. I hated that, like, it said, for some bizarre reason, it said elves, gnomes, halflings, their clerics can only be NPCs. I didn't understand that right off the bat. It didn't make sense to me.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah.
Well, there's a bunch of stuff where demi-humans, I think, are too limited. I think if a demi-human has the prime requisites in the 17s and 18s, then by all means, their upper level should be a little bit higher.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. But the game was very human-centric to begin with, and the
That's
rest
true.
I can barely
kind
hear
of
you, Anna.
flavor.
You're a little low, Anna.
Oh, sorry. There we go. See if I can better. Yeah. So it's kind of, I think originally the game was very human-centric, and
Yeah.
then that become more and more
Okay.
equalized over the editions. So now it's not that the case, but originally it was very, very human-centric. The rest was kind of, it was more for flavor, not really intended to.
Well, the reason you carried a demi-human or two along with you is because they had infravision.
Yeah.
So you threw them on night duty,
Yeah.
so that they could have a little less chance of being surprised by something sneaking up.
Mhm.
You know,
You have
it still happens.
I see one other thing in here. Fortubo ally. It says right in this article he allied himself with Moradin and Baranar. So you have,
Yeah.
yeah, that's good. That's good. So you've linked them in. You've linked these deities right into the demi-human deities, which is good. Which is a good thing. And you said Clangeddon is one of probably your favorite soul deity, and that's a great one. We need to go over today. So Anna, you got another one you want to throw in there, or Mike of Soul?
Mike, go ahead.
Did we already mention Falcon?
I just in passing, but I love Falcon as well. So
So-
Falcon right there.
I
there's
had
a picture.
to go over him and to remind myself archery god, among other things. And it says in there that he is the second best fighter next to Court. And I thought that was really interesting because this is a deity that I don't believe gets enough attention in this game setting.
Mm-hmm.
And here he's the second best, martial deity.
When we talked about heraldry a week or two ago, I had asked for something, a crest for the High Priest of Falcon in Falconville. I mean, good Lord, how self-serving can you get? He's an 11th level High Priest, and when they finally discovered that he was up there, they would take all their dead up there to get raised. He finally got sick and tired of the party showing up. He told them to get lost after a couple of times. Now, granted, they would pay their money, and that was all well and good, but it took a long time before they got their own high priest in the party. They finally got a guy that got up to 9th level, and they didn't have to go running around looking for a high priest to raise them. On one occasion, they made the mistake of going to an evil god to get him raised because he was a high priest after all.
Yeah, that's
So
probably
he
not a
said,
good
well,
idea.
he said, yeah, I prayed for Ray's dead, which he didn't. And then he did some mumbo jumbo over the body. The best part was when they brought the body in, he took the dagger from the guy and said, paid, and stuck the dagger in the guy's stomach and then rolled him off. Said, well, I have to array for that spell and get him tomorrow. So he did his mumbo jumbo and said, oh, well, dead forever. But he wasn't, because
I love that.
That's the damn spell. But he sure as hell kept the money.
So the moral of the story, folks, is don't go to an evil priest
Don't
to
go
get a
to an
raised
evil
dead.
priest. No.
Oh,
They can raise dead, but they don't really want to raise good people. So
yeah.
yeah, they'll connive.
So this is interesting in the Falcon end of the article. Falcons worshipped as Major G in Lendor Isle. Are you ready? And as well as in Keoland, Ulick, Yeomanry, and Selene. It says.
That's what I'm saying. Why isn't he pushed?
I don't know.
Well, those that goes back to the when the Sul crossed the continent and moved to various places. They moved. You've got a number of gods, Sul gods, worshipped by the various barbarians. They're worshipped in Radek, and then various other places where the migration led off to.
Yep.
Well, Lendor Isle being one of them. So all of those have Sul gods, or the potential for Sul clergy and worshippers in those various locations. Let's see, there's the map of that. Here's some.
Yeah, and here's another thing. Cord says Northern Ulick is he's worshipped in. It says Cord is worshipped more than any other Sul deity. Thriving churches dedicated, and we found the barbarian states, obviously. Northern Ulick, Almor.
Wow.
And the Great Kingdom.
Mm-hmm. Well, I guess the Great
Well,
Kingdom was so large that it can be almost anything.
Probably
can be
passed through the Great Kingdom before it was the Great Kingdom.
Yeah.
More likely than not.
Yeah, it's just when you look into the details of these old Sul articles, I mean, it's pretty cool. Falcon is interesting because he will only fight with bow or dagger. He only fights dagger. Yeah.
And he doesn't wear armor.
Right.
Yeah.
He just goes out there, no shirt on.
Yeah, he's buff. But my specialty priest of Falcon, which is one of the recent ones I've done, the priests can't wear armor, and the priests can if they fight melee, they can only use dagger. Yeah, it follows just as, so it's pretty neat.
Yeah, they don't.
All right, so let me bring up one here. A baddie for you, Len. Beltar.
Yeah, well, yeah, you have Beltar, Pyremus, and Cyrell there.
Beltar is pretty hideous, right?
Yeah. And
Beholder goddess.
I don't think there's certainly a temple of Pyremus in L5 in Croton, and there's another one, another deity, evil deity.
You got this article has Pyremus, Beltar, and then Bear Lake Lurg, but I think there's another one. Let me think. So Pyremus is the god of fire, poison, and murder, right? And then Beltar is the goddess of deep caves, pits, and malice. I like that.
Yeah.
Beltar's another one of those shape changers I was talking about.
Yeah. Yeah, she's she's appears as a hag, and then can shape change. She can take the. You ready for these forms, Leonard? You were on roll with this one. She can take the form of an ancient red dragon, a beholder, or a Type 5 demon.
I like Type 5 demon.
Yes.
Well,
yeah. So that's awesome. And I like you actually have a deity that like beholders will go toward in the Sul pantheon. So
what if the Type 5 demon is actually her true form? And the hag is the alternate form.
Oh, let's ask Leonard that question.
Yeah.
Do you think? What do you think about that? That she's actually the demon and that's her real form.
No, I don't think so.
No. Oh, well.
You got that shot down.
It's not her real form, but she certainly enjoys her abilities to change.
Mm.
And her priests are pretty nasty too. I've given a number of the priests separate abilities over and above what a regular priest would have, so that here and there a priest will get an attribute or a power that is not typical of that level based upon the deity. I'm sure I did that with Falcon.
Then how much more do we have you for? How much more do we have you for?
Soon.
Okay. All right, cool. So let's talk about your sea deities then, Zerbo and Osprey. Okay, and so Zerbo is the god of the sea, money, and business, which I didn't realize that. I'm thinking Sully's always goes Zilchus with money, right? Always, but
money and business in ports.
Okay.
Because that's usually where those two gods plus Aquaman, that's where they're worshipped. They're worshipped along the coastlines because you got people getting on ships. But what I've always have you guys read the Belgariad by David Eddings?
I have not.
Yes, I think
He does some lovely work by about gods, and he acknowledges the fact that based upon circumstance, you will worship a particular god when you want to do something that belongs to the same pantheon and roughly is the same alignment. So if you're getting on a ship, you're going to pray to Osprey or Zerbo to protect your ass while you're on the ship. And that's the joy of having a pantheon. While your primary god may be this, that, or the other, when you're doing a certain thing, well, when somebody dies, you do a death prayer to Ouija, even though your god is somebody else, because you want that person protected in the afterlife. And that's one of Ouija's things, is to protect the undead, protect the dead.
That's a great point. I mean, seriously, that a lot of, I guess, when you have the pantheon, the Norse always did that. They prayed to whatever god they needed to. A lot of the other pantheons did the same thing. So it makes total sense.
You guys watched Vikings when it was on TV.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yep.
That was fabulous.
Well,
Yeah, I like that.
The ones where the guy catches the axe with his head. It's just amazing stuff.
Yep.
Amazing stuff.
Yep.
If you really want to see some down to earth melees, it was done in Vikings.
Yep.
So let me figure. Anyone have any questions for Len before we lose him for his half-hour pop-in for 2 weeks in a row, which we appreciate. The other one, the other evil one you're thinking of is Cyril. Cyril, the goddess of false promises and deceit.
Yeah.
That's
Cyril.
Yeah, Cyril. Yeah, Syrul, Cyril. Okay,
Right.
and that is she right
That's
there.
the way I know. So
It's
I didn't put in a pronunciation guide because I'm not great at doing that. Not my forte, but to me, it's what I call them. So I just said that's the way I said it. So there it is.
Yeah.
For better, for worse, richer, for poorer. All right, kids, I have to run.
Leonard, thanks.
See you, Leonard.
So
Thank you
Leonard's
so much
going to be
for coming
sending me
on.
a giveaway, and I'm going to be giving it away when I get it in a few weeks. And so we'll show that next in the future. Len, thanks for hopping on so we can discuss your Soul Pantheon that you created. Awesome. Thank you. Really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Bye.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Bye.
There we go. So look, we got Leonard came on 2 minutes before we launched. So guys, so that's like boom. he came on. Hey, we got to talk about. He created those deities, so I mean, it's like the horse's
It's
mouth.
surreal.
Right? It is surreal thinking about these
Very
deities
surreal.
that he created them. He's just here.
Yeah, those are articles I literally like started
Yeah.
subscribing to Dragon Magazine and reading.
It's such a. I mean, it's such an honor for him to just hop on and want to talk about stuff he created back then. It's crazy when you think about it. You're absolutely right, Mike. It's surreal. So, all right. We will entertain questions about them as well, but let's talk about open it up and
floodgates.
we're gonna open the floodgates. Hey, he likes Clangeddon. That's cool. Clangeddon's a great deity. So we're gonna open it up to all of them now. Phantom, his recall is great. So Anna, pick one, and we're gonna bounce around, guys, and we'll take your suggestions.
I want to go and put something that we mentioned. Len mentioned a little bit at the end, and that was the Pantheon concept, and that's something I'm really interested in how that works. And I think that one of the great points is that the reason that gods want to be part of a pantheon is that they can share power from worshippers, so to speak. So meaning then a death god that belongs to a pantheon of others will get the other worshippers when they die, that their descendants and they afterward will pray for that death god or something. So it brings kind of strength in numbers even among deities, and that is a very interesting concept I want to dig into more in my campaign and stuff.
So cultural pantheons is the way to go then.
Well, there are other pantheons too. I guess you can have a lineman pantheon.
That's what I'm getting at.
You can have the evil ones ganging up.
Ooh. In my Sea Princes campaign, I came up with a sea pantheon. I threw in every aquatic or nature god that was related to sailing. So you have the wind gods and the sea gods, Rokan. And I made it so a sailor is going to worship all of these in whatever situation.
Do you have that list?
Yeah. So
I could hack one out.
Yeah.
I would do that and post on Greyhawk, man. I really think that a lot of people want to see that because they love the Sea Princess campaign and all the stuff you've done for it. I would love to see it because that would be a great thing for my Harpy campaign for the sailors having that list. So if you can down the future, that would be awesome.
The way I've done it, and I haven't developed it fully in my campaign, but I've developed it somewhat. And first of all is the old faith, Druidism. That's one pantheon. And they have a bunch of like Obadhai and Biri and so on. That they are.
That's a theme more with thematic,
So that's a thematic and cultural, meaning it's Flan, but there are others.
That's true.
You don't have to be, but you can be. It's in some areas. It kind of, to me, it's a crossover. It's originally Flan Elven pantheon, so to speak, because the Flans in my take was they learned and got a lot of their really way of worshipping from the elves.
So Ilona and Obadhai,
exactly, they're two aspects of the same god. So they kind of there's a crossover. How much we don't know. No one knows that yet. So it's kind of a secret. But there's a crossover between the elves and the Flan. Or meaning that the old faith, but then there's a bunch of people who are not Flan that if they live in an area and Druid is their main priest, so to speak, then they become worshippers of the old faith too, and that means that so there's a crossover, not only cultural, it's a thematic and it's partially cultural, so to speak. So it kind of crosses. But then you have other pantheons that are not obvious to worshippers, but you have gods who have secret alliances, and they might even be the same god with different aspects, and meaning you can have chaotic evil or especially lawful evil deities that we want to bring in either chaos or evil principles, so they gang up and work together, but they don't tell their worshippers that, and so we have multiple aspects of pantheon, the pantheon concept, so to speak.
All right, help me out here with this idea you have, Anna. So John, if you're still on for Blue Box, Vivi is going to be playing a character named Lilith, a Greyhawk druid. Who should that Greyhawk worship? In the out of Vestry Forest,
Yeah,
yes.
in my campaign, it will be
Yes.
any of the gods that belong to the because they don't, meaning you don't have a single. It depends, certain deities. But if you take Old Faith in my campaign, Druidism, if you're a Druid, that means that you worship and make use of all the gods in the pantheon. Meaning, if you
Okay.
want to bless the crops, the fields, so they will yield a big crop, you might go to Beori or something like that, or a couple want to have a kid and or you want to marry them, then you use Beori. But then you want to have someone for hunting or protect the forests or something like that. So or prayed for peace in the land and stuff like that. So it's all these and it's, to me, the Old Faith is very practical. It's down to earth. It's farming communities and all the things that in the daily life, so to speak. It's not big political schemes. It's not so much. It's protecting the environment, making sure that there are animals to hunt and the forests are beautiful, the birds sings, and we get kids and we live in peaceful little villages. That's the basis of it.
Oh, I did forget. See, I forgot a book. I forgot my specialty Druid book.
Yeah.
So Casey, well, so you take a dynamic aspect of having them all. Casey is saying Rolthane Ralithil because it's a god of Sylvan Elves and Druids, but I say that's a Sylvan Elf god more than a Greyhawk god.
Oh,
but...
I would, for me, it would be simply, and the gods want to have as many worshippers as possible. So they would not object if people want to worship them. Fine. It's usually that adds to their strength, and in the way I see it, and also gods. In my campaign, they get strength from two ways: either by worshiping, meaning that characters pay them attention and devote and sacrifice and pray to them and stuff. That's one way of getting strength. But there's the reverse. If people fear you, if creatures fear you, they get strength too. If they have nightmares about that death will come, for instance, Nero will get strong. So that means that evil gods have very few worshippers because they just need to make scared. So they have a few priests and what I call divine agents, meaning they could be a priest, an oracle, a druid, any type of character that uses divine power to scare someone or heal someone.
That makes sense.
Yeah. So evil priests,
Plenty
they have
plenty of people, know about the devil, but we're not devil worshippers.
Exactly. That means that evil deities have very, very few worshippers. They might only have a few priests that go around scaring people and about it and tell the horror stories and stuff. And that means that god gets or deity gets a lot of power just by scaring people into fearing them. So that's the two ways, and some deities play on both, meaning they can use their powers in saying that, like some gods that are very racist, for instance, they say that, oh, we protect you, and then they scare everybody else. So there is some gods might be neutral and simply play with whatever needed, so to speak. So there is a multifaceted way that I try to make sense of it.
Do you have any input on that, Mike? I'm just curious as to what direction.
No, I think that's great.
Okay.
I like that she uses the worshiper power theory, because I know in second edition era that was a real contentious thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even really remember what my position is.
Okay.
And also that you can have there are certain ways, and you can have you have witches and others. They have a direct alignment with and bring spells and powers from their gods, and you have to be powerful enough as a kind of being in order to be able to get full priests. Otherwise, you can have witches and others. You can give one or a few creatures spells and witches and others that way.
I never put much thought into game mechanics.
I try to have that because it's kind of, I want to how does witches and stuff works, and
I'm not like I said, my guys are not How I know, Anna's. How does the whole world? How does everything work?
Oh, it's for me. I don't tell my players that. Yeah.
But,
So this is
yeah,
because I need to know how the world works. So when they go off to
yeah,
do something screwy, I can kind of, oh, that's what will happen when they
yeah.
do this. And then when they
Okay.
get really knowledgeable, meaning a cleric who's like have knowledge religion up the gazoo when he's like 15 level, he can figure this out by rolling, doing research and stuff like that, and he will
Okay.
figure it out. And high level wizards and others, but no one will just know this, so to speak. So it's something that's one of these things that you can puzzle together if your character is really high level. And if you listen to this show, then you get all the spoilers. So then I'm screwed as a DM too. So yeah.
Tim is on. I want to show something real quick. Okay, Tim,
Okay.
I want to show you something. This is in the Alana article. Tim, you got to see this. The Alana article page. Okay. I want to I just had a flashback nostalgia moment, Tim. Alana. Okay.
Oh.
Now, you ready? The Griffin Games miniatures case. Now, look where it's sold from. Haddon Heights, New Jersey, where we
Ooh.
all grew up.
Oh.
Right there. We knew the guy who
Wow.
made those cases, Dave something. What was his name, Tim? Yep, there it is. On that page. Isn't that insane? There you go.
Nice.
So if you ever remember that the miniatures, that huge miniature case, it was made from a guy where we grew up, and he actually played. He actually played in the group that Marco's and Tim's Uncle Steve and Marco's Uncle Luke played in. That same D&D group back then in the
It's
early
so
80s. Yeah, I just was
cool.
like, oh my god, when I was looking down on this.
That's
So
awesome.
yeah, but all right. So Alana, one of my favorite deities and one of the overused deities we had. We had every half elf in our campaign worshiping Alana at one point.
Yeah.
Back in the day. Ranger. Do the Gnarly Forest Rangers revere Alana, I believe? That organization? And the Swan Maze?
I would definitely, yeah, that will be high on my list of probabilities. Yep.
Yeah, I think so. I think that is, if I recall correctly, and I'll tell you later at the end. But we're pushing up our Narwhal first level, and we're gonna be venturing in that area very shortly with a new group, and I'm looking forward to having some interaction with those organizations in the Gnarly Forest. And Alana's just was a huge, like, we had so many multi-class half elves back in the day that we didn't know what deity to use for them, and I think that's where Alana came into play as the main half elven deity in my game. Like, did you have if you had half elves, did they go elven or human deities for the most part?
Probably human, because we didn't really ever to this day get too involved with elven culture. I know that one of my players' main characters was an elf, Mortellin. My namesake, Mortellin. He played an elf, but lived in human society all the time. So
Okay.
it was kind of weird. I never delved into elven.
Yeah. In my campaign, it will be completely where they're from, so to speak. That will be meaning half elves that live in a predominantly elven area will probably mostly worship like the elves do, and half elves that are remote or live in human areas predominantly, they might adopt way more humans or from the area they're in, so to speak. So it will be, so to me, it's not, race is only part of it, and the cultural heritage is much more that, and a lot of the areas, like taking the area of Viluna is one of the interesting examples of that, I think, because I take it that area was originally very elven, and then because it was kind of from the Vestvi forest all the way down to Selene was once elven, as I see it, predominantly elven, and there's a lot of half elves or quarter elves or people that have elven ancestry as part of their ancestry, and they will probably a lot of humans still worship elves too, and they might go to elven clerics and or priests for help when something is amiss that they might see as a something that elves might help them with, so to speak. So it's more like, to me, it's kind of a cultural, and it's also that elves might be seen as very wise. So if you want to know something about magic or something about a curse or something like that, then might be better to go and seek out that elven oracle or an elven priest than to go to the local druid who probably can't know much about that. But if I want my crops fail or have some sort of disease that affects my animals, then I go to the local druid because he's the guy that can fix that. Probably that's something he deals with all the time. Or I want to make sure my future partner, we can have kids or something, then you go to the local druid because he or she is the one that normally deals with all that. So it's both what nature of the issue and the cultural thing. That's for me is the kind of, and you go out being sure that Erythnul and Nerul not take you or make you sick, or Incobulus, and we don't want to hear anything about it. And there's someone going, oh, we've heard about it. We saw someone and someone being sick, and now he's around, and they get scared, and we might have a priest of him, and everybody gets scared and stuff like that. That's why I also see a lot of evil deities have clerics who roam through areas just to scare and instill and spread pestilence, or randomly kill people now and then and stuff like that, just to scare the living bejesus out of it.
Tabulous has that market corner.
Yeah, so exactly.
I think Erythnul's close there too, man.
Yeah, but they need to maintain their brand, so to speak. The brand awareness is when you're an evil deity, you can't, even if you have the temple in secret and stuff, but then you have to go out and interact in the most negative, hideous ways with the countryside in order to scare them, because that promotes your deity. And he probably demands it, say that if you want to be a cleric here, you have to kill one person a week, otherwise you're struck from the list, basically. Yeah, if I had ran an evil campaign, I would simply demand it, say you will simply lose, you don't get spells if you don't kill anyone every week or so. Yeah, and so you have to be kind of a little bit brutal if you if you want to get the powers from some evil deity, you have to earn it.
Yeah, playing an evil campaign is just not the way to go.
Exactly.
It's just
it's I see it as a punishment on my players if they behave badly. So they go murder hoboing.
We will, Carlos, absolutely. That is because I love them too. Definitely, we will talk about the hero deities. We have a lot of requests for them. But I'm going to ask Mike, what's your favorite evil deity? Why?
Oh boy, I was not expecting that question.
Of course not. I think the third.
Well, I will come back to Incobulus then.
Oh.
Okay.
He has a laundry list for a portfolio rivaling anyone. I think and I'm sure everyone watching will agree, he's underused as an evil god.
Mm-hmm.
He should be. He does all the things that probably you would attribute to other evil gods, but I think nightmares, droughts, famines. He's not just out assassinating 1% of the time. It's just like mass evil.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And I love Incobulus because there's a lot of, and I think one of them is an adventure card that actually have Incobulus killing a bunch of elves in the Welkwood. It was one of those adventure cards in the bottom of the box sets. Really a nasty deity.
I think the write-up on him says that he even scares the other evil gods.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're afraid of him because he just doesn't care, right? He's kind of like the evil, uncaring one.
He hangs out with. He rides a nightmare. He
Yeah.
hangs out with night hags.
He's not one to be trifled.
Cool
he's kind of. I haven't used him much in my campaign, but I must say that the more I hear, it's kind of. He's underused. I need to include him more. Yeah.
So we had a request for the Backlunish deities out there. I don't have much on those, and I'd rather have Joe Block back for his additions.
Yeah, he's kind of added much more to them.
So
go to Joe's blog. He has a whole pantheon expanded.
Yeah. So I would prefer just to have him back on the show, like we did on in a few weeks, and talk about him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that would be great.
But I have one evil deity that I think is kind of underused a little bit. And which
And,
is a surprise, and that's Hextor. I love the Heronius Hextor kind of, and I delved into it when I did my Rel Devon campaign, because that was home turf to the Hextorians and the Heronius Heronians, or whatever you might say, in back in the Great Kingdom days. Yeah.
Now-
Rivalry.
So and one of the
one.
aspects I love, now you silence my phone, is the aspect that he's seen as the herald of hell, and I love that aspect, and that I took that to heart in my campaign. So that was the key thing. He was the herald of hell. So he was kind of telling that the worst is to come, so to speak, and his priests are the ones that reign in worst to come. So that was what I.
Stolok brings something up too that
Yeah.
went the opposite direction of Foltest, where Foltest started out as lawful good, and then from the ashes you saw this lawful neutral aspect, right? Because the pure form. Stolok has this, and we have this slightly only because Bill wanted to play one, and I said you can't play him as an evil. That there's a lawful neutral aspect of Hextor that gets worshipped more as a god of battle, right?
Yeah.
It's right on
Sure.
that border. It is.
Law.
Yeah. So,
Honorable combat.
yeah.
But I saw it as back in the day, both Heronius and Hextor were both kind of battle deities, or started out as moving up the fame ladder, so to speak, to as promoters of battle and war and stuff, whether it was good or evil, and then they kind of split.
But
split
what do you do
sides.
for a neutral battle? God.
I don't see battle as neutral.
Really?
No, that's the whole nature of it.
Uh,
Meaning war is for the ones that take sides.
Professional mercenary types.
Well, they are then basic. Well, we might not too many alignments, but then you have Killen and others. If it's all about being effective in combat, then it's that. But the Heronius and Hextor, I see them as the cause of war is their thing, not the technical side of wielding a sword or an axe. It's the act.
It could also be their aftermath of battle too.
Yeah.
Like Heronians take prisoners, Hextorians don't.
Yeah,
Maybe.
so it's more like it's how you conduct yourself and why you're fighting, having a conflict. I think
you mentioned Kellen, and in case he went a little berserk in the chat, so
we need to have him on because he's the expert on Kellen.
So I'm gonna discuss someone who I've attempted to have on the show 30 times, even more than Eric Mona, and I still have not been anywhere, and that's Bruce Cornell, who has the Bastion of Faith reference, and I should have put it up. He has a complete Heronius and Hextor specialty priest done in that book. They're completed. So if you're looking to do a specialty priest up of them, you don't need to do them from scratch. You can make some changes, but they're right in that book. I have them both. I use them both. There's some cool items, cool spells that are unique to both. So that does exist. And that, once again, it's it was second edition black bordered book, Bastion of Faith. It was neutral, but it has that whole setting, that shield reclaim setting, which I put right in Crit Wall. It works very well. So just a little heads up on that. Give him a little shout out there, even though I've owed for like 100 with him. So, because all the stuff I use of his so much, I'd love to talk to him about it. All right. So I'm going to pop one up here, evil, since I haven't talked about one. And is this one evil or just dumb? Ralishez.
Oh, that's...
I love Ralishez is the god of bad luck.
Yeah.
So
that's interesting that you have a god for bad luck. But there's even losers, they want to have their but it's interesting. How what is the... I never tried to use a deity like that, and so meaning if you lose a lot, do you pray to him to not lose, or how would that work?
God of misfortune. So
or is it simply the one that you're scared of? That if you lose, you're scared of him. So it's one of these negatives.
To ward away misfortune. Plus, you're cursing other people to Ralishez will get you misfortune.
There you have it. There you have it. It's one of the
Ralishez is chaotic neutral of evil tendencies, so I allow CNs to worship him. He's got some pretty cool special effects. but he's chance, randomness, bad luck, misfortune, and madness. I mean, I can't think of a
Mhm.
worse combination besides
Well,
pure
it's
evil.
yeah, it's one of these one of these negative gods, so to speak, that are you're scared of rather than worship.
And he has two forms too. He also his good form. His charisma's 8. His when he's really angry, he's -1 charisma. He's got negative charisma. So
Didn't know that was
Negative
possible.
charisma. They seem to use charisma in a different way from what we used to in later editions, because charisma is just how much you affect others. So if you're
Even
angry,
so, I
then
didn't know you could go negative.
exactly, then you
Oh, yeah,
should.
yeah, evil-
Negative is like you no one notice you at all. So if
Riff-
you're angry and you have negative charisma, then you just sitting there. It's like you're invisible and people can't hear
Rithel
you.
has a -4 charisma.
Yeah, but to me that
Hmm.
that seems to charisma seems to work differently that way than what I'm used to. So yeah.
I'll be darned.
All right, so let's do. We have Stolok's requests, and we can bounce back to the main pantheon. Hero deities. Now, I'll tidbit Gary because I see he's lurking for about 10 seconds with this article, and then I'm hiding it after that because he's got to come on to talk about it. There you go. His sentence stately
Oh.
standards. Okay, because in
So
this,
where is that from?
that's from by Scott Benny from Dragon, November '83. It has all his favorites in there: Saint
Well,
Cyril the
Dragon
Relentless, Saint Bane, Saint Kargath, the King of the Death Knights, and Saint Eldor are all in that article. That's where they're originally from.
Which number?
I don't.
Dragon-
It's November of '83.
Okay.
So it's. Anyone know November of any?
It's okay. I put it down here in my reading to read.
Yeah,
notes. So,
that's a
yeah,
great
thank
one.
you.
But so
Yep.
let's talk about the 3 hero deities. Actually, there's 4.
In the box set.
Yeah, I got Heward, Keatum, Merlin, and Kellenin, right? Now, 3 of them are considered quasi, and then Kellenin's supposed to be a little bit higher.
Little
So
higher.
so
yeah.
they are all god. I see it as that they are gods in the making. They're meaning they were once mere mortals that are moving up, and to me that means that others have done it. So that's why I see it like Hieronymus and Hextor is another example of that
Huh.
previously moved up the ladder.
Oh,
so to
okay.
speak.
Well,
Yeah.
that makes total sense. Absolutely. But when you think about in the Slavers reference, which comes out later, they make Merlin on the same level as Kellenin then. So maybe they ascended Merlin further because, once again, it's scrolling, but, tell me this isn't a ripoff from Clint Eastwood. I mean, that's who it is.
Oh yeah,
right?
it's very much. But
it's Clint Eastwood.
that was common back then. Then yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know if there was a mechanical difference between the hero and quasi until like what, 3rd edition?
I think there was how high spell levels they can assign to give to their clerics. Meaning there was like Ius is only a demigod, so it was only like level 5 or 6 or something. You can give
Which
the highest level.
blows my mind.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's only so.
Yeah.
Here's what it says in this. This is a Gary Gygax written article. Kellenin can give up to 5th level, and Hero Deity's only 4th level spells. But now Merlin can do 5th now, as of the Slavers reference. So, yeah.
Why?
No, sorry.
I never liked that rule. I understand why it's there, but I never liked it because what player would pick a god that's going to limit that?
A good role-playing player.
Yeah.
Yes.
I switched that rule around, and I'll simply say that all the deities can
Yes,
give
Casey 7.
as high as
Not
level
9.
spells as they can do themselves, or at least 1 level lower. So meaning, so if they themselves can cast 9 level spells, they can all issue 9 level spells to their clerics. But
going in, you're not going to be able to resurrect anyone.
Yeah. But
Well, yeah,
also,
but yeah, true. But resurrection, you have to be 18th level to cast a 9th level, 7th level clerical spells. It's insane how that thing
So
scrolls
if all
up.
you ever plays low level campaigns, then I guess it's no big deal.
Yeah. But also what the limitation for me in my campaign is that high level deities can have way more clerics, so to speak. That it's the number of
the number of clerics?
Yeah, the number of people you can issue spells to. that is the limitation, so to speak. So if you
So
really
is
like,
it set up like druids where you can only have so many 18th level clerics, 17?
well, it
16?
it depends. Meaning, if a deity is like highest level possible, like the Thuristan and the other ones, meaning they can have almost unlimited amount of clerics and stuff. So but a quasi deity or someone might only have a few.
Oh,
And
yeah.
so that way you need to climb up, and it works the other way around. So the more you have worshippers and stuff, the more clerics you can have, and that's one of the criteria to move up the ladder, so to speak. The more you can influence. If everyone is terrified of you, then you have a lot of power simply because of it. So, and then you can have lots of clerics. But that's just the way I handle it. But so there's.
You just jogged my memory, and this is a bad.
Let's hear it.
Okay, you were talking earlier about worshippers
Mhm.
and being afraid of gods, and that gives them power. But then I just remembered that another part of this whole D&D physics is that gods can steal other gods' portfolios.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And I didn't know if that goes well with your thing or not.
Oh yes, it does, because it depends on what the worshippers worship you for, so to speak.
Okay.
So if they're scared of being killed by you, or they're scared that you will they associate you with sickness or something like that, or they're scared of going out to sea and get lost because
Right.
so and so deity will lose you out there and cause storms and stuff. That is one of the key things that you can grab a portfolio from someone else for it, so to speak. So
Right.
that's one
So
of the
Carlos
key
brings
things.
up Ranit, which is a good
Yeah.
example because we don't hardly know Ranit because she's deceased.
Yeah.
Pyramus got her. But then that means if Merlin wants to move up, all he has to do is
Yeah.
take someone out, right?
Yep, and that's the way I see it. One of the easiest way for a deity to move up the ladder is to dispose of another deity and kill that deity.
All right. I'm gonna. I hate the time of troubles and forgotten
I knew
realms.
it. Yeah,
I hate
yeah.
it.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, Anna. I hate it. I mean, I'm not saying I hate your idea.
Yeah.
I hate
No, but
the time of trouble.
yeah.
Yeah.
And the interesting thing is that one of the other things that I had a problem with was deities that came to the planet, that came to prime material plane, started walking around killing things. Why don't deities simply go down there and just kill worshippers of rival deities? Meaning, why don't the evil deities just come in and wipe the slate clean, so to speak? And the major explanation you have in the books, if I remember correctly, is that the deities have some sort of agreement, the good and the evil, and everybody saying that we should stay out of the business of mortals, and we should stay out here in our different realms and other planes, and leave and the only exceptions are Ayus and Cuthbert and a few others that come in by themselves. And to me, that didn't make much sense. But now, yeah.
We linked to Carlos on Gavin, the Ranit one. Remember,
Yeah.
we linked that on the mid level adventuring on Sunday night. Carlos, that one. I didn't put two and two together. Duh, sorry. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's cool. Wow.
But I was thinking a lot about that a couple of years ago or some years ago. So the way I dealt with it was that I used the avatars, meaning gods who send an avatar to do that, meaning that Ayus is a bit different because he resides on the prime material plane. So I skip him for now. But if you take the regular gods, like the big major gods that live out in the outer plane somewhere, if they go in person, then that means that they risk dying on prime material plane. They become mortals. That's the limitation. They don't go in person because that's an enormous risk, because then some other deity might come in and they might get killed because they become mortals. You can kill them when they go to prime material plane. That's one of the limits. But they can also send their avatars, and when they send their avatars, that is through magic, and that can be detected. So the other gods and other scryers and stuff out there, high level priests and magic users and stuff, they can detect it miles around. So that means that if you do, the other gods will send in their avatars, and it will be a kind of a slugfest, and they will not gain so much. That, to me, that was one of the. It's a bit like a nuclear war. It's like
It'd be a time of trouble.
Yeah, so you kind of stay out of it, so to speak. So that means that it's kind of limited, and the
No.
exceptions are IUs because he resides on the prime material plane. But that means that he is to
that's
be
okay.
terrified of not being overrun and killed. So he has to take special precautions, so to speak. But now
Awesome.
I'm being babbling way too long.
No, that's okay.
Well,
All right, I got a question.
Mhm.
Give me a module, or give me an instance in that a character can actually meet a god in. Nothing. It's actually in published source.
I think in Temple of Elemental Evil is
Bang!
that in
How
the,
many?
Yeah, in the
Oh.
yeah.
How many?
Let's see. We have Zuktmoy.
One,
Yeah, and I think we have Cuthbert too.
two, and what?
And then we have Ayus himself.
Three.
Yeah. Mhm.
Good job, Anna.
Yep.
So, Temple of Elemental Evil, you can meet three gods. You can
Mhm.
banish one, and
Nice.
then at the end of the Temple of Elemental Evil, Ayus and St. Cuthbert appear and parlay.
Yeah.
Right in front of you.
Mhm.
So that's an instance of a published source adventure. There's no vampire Thrommel running around, guys. Okay, sorry, I had to
Oh.
say it again
That
for
was
the 100th
before
time.
he was a he
Yes.
was in the vampire.
So
back then, but,
yeah, so that is one. That is a
Vecna
good one.
lives.
What's that?
Vecna lives. Has
Vecna
two.
lives is another one, right?
Mhm.
All
Yeah.
right. That's
Vecna Ayus.
Okay, I have another appearance of Ayus that's a little bit more recent, and multiple deities. If you played Expedition to the Ruins of Greyhawk, which was written by Eric Mona,
Oh. Mhm.
you can come across Ayus, Zuokin.
Hmm.
Oh.
Okay, is another one who you can actually technically free in that adventure.
He's down there on purpose.
Right, he's one of the 9
Yeah.
imprisoned ones, right? So they're still in prison. So you can come across 2 in that adventure actually as well. Now I'm trying to think beyond that, but Temple's the biggest one that I can think of that it
Yeah.
actually happens in during the
Do you-
adventure. Does anyone else know of one?
I don't know. I never got to the end of Forgotten Temple of Thuristan.
I did.
Well, we have returned to the Temple of Elemental Evil as Thuristan is involved in that one too, but we should
Doesn't
not mention that
exist.
anymore. So
No, that
exactly,
doesn't
we should
exist.
skip that one. Yeah, I was going to say we should because it's kind of
My eyeballs will start popping out.
Yeah. I was would
It's
say
okay,
we should. You know what? We should. I agree with you. We shouldn't
So-
go any further. I just wanted to mention.
Casey
that it
put
was-
some in LG, and I would like to probably rephrase that and probably say many in LG, Casey. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes. The players meet Istis and Fate of Istis. I believe it's not Istis herself in that.
Okay.
It is.
Yeah.
I believe.
But
it's,
then comes the question: if you met an avatar of a god, have you met the god then?
I don't know. That's a good question.
And how can you tell the difference? In my campaign, you can only tell the difference if you have a really high skill level of knowledge religion or knowledge the planes or some knowledge arcana or something like that. Then you might be able to tell the difference. Otherwise, if you're deity yourself, you can. But if you're not a deity, you have to have high level, really knowledgeable in order to be able to tell the difference. Otherwise, you can't tell if it's they're real or not. And meaning a high level wizard can see the magic trace, seeing that okay, that is a gated in creature, so to speak. That comes that the real creature behind it is somewhere else. But a normal person would not be able to tell the difference at all. So they can basically kill an avatar of the god and think that we killed the god, and they haven't. So yeah.
All right, see, I'm playing 100 questions here.
Yeah, that's great.
Okay.
Yep.
Name another deity in the pantheon that's home as prime material.
Let's see here.
Home.
I would say we have IUs we mentioned. So
Yes,
so
we got
but
IUs.
and now we have to have the
Yeah, I thought it was an agent of this puppet. I thought so too.
No, but we have the six
I
shooter.
got it.
Who?
For Langan.
Farlang, right? You think so? That is a good question. If his is
Yeah,
prime
he's-
It's the whole point of
material.
his. So the whole point.
No,
of
but
it.
I was
Is it?
thinking.
Okay. Let me see.
Now I forgot the name. I'm terrible with names here. I'm going through
Farlang roams the 4 corners of the world, but sometimes enters the elemental plane of earth and the elemental plane of air.
Yeah.
You can travel to any inner plane, however.
Yeah. So he's kind of
Yeah.
I'm sure he's
Gets around.
occasionally. Yeah.
It says plain earth pyre material. There you go.
Mhm.
Yep,
Yep,
that's one.
But I was thinking the we mentioned him before, the guy with the 6-shooters.
Oh, Merlin. Yeah, quasis.
Yeah.
Yeah, quasis are
Yeah.
all prime material.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
true.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, then
I have
so-
one.
go up to demigod a notch. What's Zagig's plan?
Zagig's a lesser
demigod.
god, isn't he?
He's from Greyhawk,
Oh yeah, but he's
and he's a
yeah.
demigod.
Mhm.
Does he still live on the Prime? I don't
Let's
really
see what it
recall.
says. Good question.
Yeah, Earth Dragon.
Good. There's one. Definitely Stark. Great call.
Yeah, Earth Dragon. Yeah, but yeah, and that's one I wanted to ask more about later on because
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
kind of intrigued. But I'm intrigued
I
by
love-
I only
Earth
know
Dragon.
about
Zag-
the cult, not the god.
Prime material / concordant opposition. So I'd say probably not now.
Which in later like Planescape rules, the concordant opposition is where sigil.
Yeah,
is
it's that
and all
middle
that.
point
Which-
of all
Yeah.
the outer planes. It's that
All
which
right.
I love. It goes up like this, and then it's around the mountaintop,
Yeah.
and I love that. It's one of
Yeah.
my dreams to map it.
So Celestian and Farlang are brothers, correct?
Yes, and one
Okay.
is the Earthbound, and the other one is out in the stars, and
And I don't have. Here's the weird thing. I have Farlang, and no one's ever. I wrote it up, and no one ever has played one in my campaign. And I don't have Celestian because no one was interested. So is it just because of their wandering that no one really cares about either one of them? I just maybe
but
it's not.
players. I think most players they want to play clerics or war gods and powerful ones that give them
That's in it for
cool,
them.
combat abilities and stuff. They don't want to have the god that protects you when you're out wandering and have little rest stops and that will be the yeah.
But my players love Merlin.
Okay, yeah.
He has guns.
Yeah.
What's that? Yeah, I mean Merlin
He's
right there.
done.
There he
But
is.
Farlang is one of these like Ubadhai or something like that, or even more.
If you
it's
ran,
yeah.
if you
Sorry.
ran Spelljammer, you'd have Celestian Cloaks.
That makes sense.
Yeah, definitely.
Good point.
Yeah.
Good
Mhm.
point. Real good point. But we always, whenever there's like a shrine, it's always a shrine of Farlang, the Wanderer. Always all over the place in my campaign.
Yeah.
But
You
I
know,
would
so-
say if you're an adventurer, you would kind of like them, but you
it is.
Okay, I got a question
also
from the
a lot
audience.
of regular folks would love to have them
Oh,
around
yeah.
because
How do I use Merlin in my game? Okay, this is what we do. First off, if you want especially Priest of Merlin and Kellenin, they're both detailed in the Slavers reference, and they are both very well done, and you can make up a spell list pretty easily. So their abilities are in. You just using their spheres, you can make up a spell list of 5 levels. That's about it. So they don't have a lot of spells. That's not in comparison to all the references I use. That's not that much. Here's the thing. We have Alan plays especially Priestess of Merlin, and that character goes around and attempts to improve on systems, like tries to make the well better, right? With a little technological flair to it, or tries to improve the forges, like maybe so that they can learn how to make, higher grades of steel. That's how Merlin kind of works in my campaign, which is, I think, perfectly legitimate, for improvements, to things, and then they appear in spell effects. So if that puppet, does that answer your question? Plus, we have no deities are high enough level to have a 6-shooter or any of that crap. All right, they don't have it, but smoke powder can work if you're a super high level. Yeah. All right. Yeah, absolutely. I love them. So I think they fit in perfectly. And Kellenin, Casey has a Garn, who is Kellenin now in my campaign. Kellenin's a sword lord. They get really good combat abilities. They have specialization, as Kellenin does, and but they tend to be neutral because they are about the combat, not about the struggle of good versus evil. Right? With Kellenin, Kellenin's really not interested in that. He's more interested in combat, right? About swordsmanship. That's what he's interested in. So those are the two. So there you go. Hopefully that answers your question. All right, but my prime material question, you missed the one I was thinking of. One of my favorites of all time. And you can find a priest of his in the joint Carlos J adventure. the priest of Wastri.
Oh yeah.
Wastri is located supposedly in the whole marshes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, if he was in the airplanes, that would be ridiculous.
How
Yeah.
local? I see Mastery as one of these local little things that pops up, or is it widespread? Is every marsh have Mastery
Seems
followers?
like
or-
it.
Anywhere there's toads.
Okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Yeah.
I have a real
Toads have
quick
culture,
question.
Hey, Mystery.
meaning so they have culture. Then the toads they communicate. Or maybe
Yeah,
the
it
god
gets
kind of
around.
tells the toads to yeah. Mhm.
I love Wastri just because everyone hates them.
Yeah, but it's
And
fun.
yeah, it's fun. It's a fun thing to bring out on your play against your players.
Like,
And
oh, not him again.
It's good fantasy.
it is. It's good fantasy play. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's a demigod you could actually throw at your characters, I think,
Mhm.
and it would be interesting and not
That's a good point.
necessarily
Mhm.
like overpowering.
Right.
Just
Right.
scary enough to take him seriously.
Yeah. It's very cultish. Absolutely, I agree.
Yeah.
But just I like the feel of having a deity on that level. You know, having it where it's like down and dirty. It's not up here, you know, on behalf of it's closer. So if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, thanks, Carlos. First time you ever used them? Yes, absolutely. You know, some things are really gross, and you got to utilize them. So, and if we all remember what happened during my Gary Con virtual when Chuck played Fritz, and he he was scared about the little kid. It was so great. Oh my god, that was a fun time. A lot of fun. All right, so let's go. Anyone want to talk about anything else with hero deities and stuff like that? Go ahead, Mike.
While you were talking about prime material plane deities,
Mhm.
demigods specifically, what plane does Maya live
Yeah.
It's not in here,
If
so
if it's not Orth, then what's the point of her being brought over?
well, I pronounce it Mayheen, and
Well,
Mayheen.
either yeah.
Yeah, if you go
Mayheen.
to the Hardby reference materials that came out in that Living Greyhawk era, which were very good, and we utilized a lot of them, Mayheen becomes a regular one of the major deities worshipped in Hardby, besides Ouija
Cool.
and oh my God, who's the other one? The Lawful Good, the Long Lens worship.
Palor? No.
It's I don't no, it's May. They worship Mayheen. It's Mayheen,
Yeah.
Ouija. Who am I missing,
Female.
Bill? What's it? I'm sorry. There's three deities. Oh
Okay.
my God, my brain.
Don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah. But Mayheen's actually brought. So I don't know.
'Cause the
Alana's
story is
Alana.
Palor brings her to help good against Ayus, right? So if she's not on the prime material plane doing that, then what's her point?
Well, what's point of Philidor the Blue Wizard?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the way I
Right.
see it is more like she's focused on prime material plane more than to bet, because the way I see it is that the deities have two fields of operation, so to speak. Most of them, they operate out on the outer plane somewhere, and that means that they have to defend themselves against all their squabbly neighbors.
But
that
she's a
would come in.
demigod.
Yes,
Just like Wastri and
Yeah,
Ayus.
but I
who are
see
both running around on the prime.
Yeah, I see her as having in many ways the same role as Hextor has. Hextor is the herald of hell, and the I see Mayahane as and I'm only starting to, because she will play a major role of her clerics and
Cool.
her faith in my upcoming campaign. So that's why I'm trying to define her more. And
I'm a little let down. I was expecting like her to drop down, be on the front lines of the Ayus, Furion.
oh yeah, that's
Well,
something
God
I'm
versus
toying
God,
with, but
duke
yeah.
out.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I'm going to say that first of all, she needs to have more worshippers, so to speak, and
Sure.
and
Okay.
also that she's the herald of good in a way, that she's the one that devotes a lot of time to and organize the struggle and stuff, and Palor is the one making sure that no one is coming and taking their home base out in the outer planes.
So she's still behind the scenes.
Oh yes,
helping
and
out.
she has avatars and stuff, but she would not come in person, but she will send avatars, and
Well,
since she's only a demi, she doesn't have many, she only has one. So
I'm
Then-
just saying she's
yeah.
a demigod. She should be allowed.
There are many.
Yes,
There are
yeah.
many specialty priests of Mayheen in my campaign. Look, it's
Oh,
ripped.
yeah.
It's ripped from the Ashes page. It's
Yeah.
completely ripped apart
Yeah.
on her. But
Yeah,
it says here, her priests are few since the cult is young, and this is from the Ashes reference.
Yep.
Um,
But that means that she needs to come often to advertise herself, and then yeah.
it's an interesting point.
And while I'm in this Carl Sargent rabbit hole, then there's Vatun,
Well,
Oh,
yeah,
that's
but
a-
that's not
yeah,
a real
that's an-
deity.
and
But
he's a
no-
lesser god. But the point of the 5 sword trilogies, you can summon him.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
but also Ayus
Okay.
impersonated him. That means that
Yeah,
there must
so
be
the whole
an
thing's a
Vatun that
hoax.
Ayus impersonated. Otherwise, the
Yeah.
barbarians up there would never have been so entrenched by him and
Yeah.
followed him. So culturally, there must have been a Vatun, or maybe Ayus used that in for a long time to kind of build
Yeah.
the cult himself. I don't know.
It's
Oh, good
Who
point.
knows why some things happen, right? And from the Ashes era, but
That's true.
Corn's
Yeah.
right.
we use Mayheen and we like the deity. So
Oh,
I mean, it wasn't
yeah,
a complete swing and a miss.
I love Mayheen. Is an awesome cult. I'm really building a
And I
Mayheen
like
cult for
her.
my campaign.
I'm just like when I
Why?
see gods, and mind you, I did a whole comic on deities, so I spent a lot of time thinking about these things,
Mhm.
and I just feel this is another one that I maybe didn't get pushed beyond her initial role.
Yeah.
And I
Okay,
wanted
fair
more.
enough. Fair enough.
Yeah.
It's
I
a
see
great
it as-
point. It's a great
Yeah.
point.
Yeah, I see now that Palor and the other gods, good gods, are now being kind of the evils have taken over. So they need to. So Mayheen is now the front
All right.
runner to help out, and they kind of ganging up together. And
I don't know what Living Greyhawk did with her, but I would hope they did a lot.
Well, it's up to us in our campaigns to bring out whatever we
Yeah.
want, so to speak. So yeah.
Yeah.
Who created Vatun?
Yeah.
Sergeant, correct? Who did 5 shall be 1?
I don't think
Sargent
Sergeant.
Yeah.
did the first.
Yeah,
He
so
did the
it's-
first one.
Yeah. So I don't think Vatun was mentioned before that. I think.
Yeah, it was It was a Sergeant era creation.
So is he real or is he an Ayus fabrication?
He's probably a legend.
That's the interesting thing, is that you can spin that story one or the other way, so to speak. So yeah.
It's a good point. Good point.
Yeah.
All right. Some of the more popular deities we haven't even discussed.
Well, I have one. Okay.
Go for it. Go for it.
I would say I have one that, since we discussed Mayheen and stuff, now I have one that I need to discuss that is near and dear to old Greyhawkers, Cuthbert. Where
Okay.
does he fit in? Because to me, he seems to be one of the most kind of folky kind of common deities that the common person kind of likes to
everyone-
have it. Yeah. So it's and he's also militant and good-hearted and all that. So it's kind of it's kind of interesting. So how have you used him? Back in the day, we just used him and without too much thinking. Now I want to have more thinking behind it.
I see him as St. Cuthbert of the Cudgel. You're absolutely right. He's like the common man's meat and potato deity, right?
Yeah.
It says in specific writings that he hates evil, but he's more worried about backsliding amongst the faithful.
Oh,
So he's kind of got that lawful neutral stint to him, just a hair.
Yeah.
But he realizes that evil needs to be dealt with. So he's kind of like I guess, your everyday protector. In the farmlands, that's who they pray to.
So, I see him as a kind of competitor to the old faith, and it's interesting because in Hamlet you have that dichotomy. You have the big Cuthbert temple, and then you have a little druid that lives in that little cottage in the middle of the village. Yeah, so I see that kind of old faith versus new faith, so to speak. So yeah.
If I recall, and Bill just brought this up, the Night Watch, they are all St. Cuthbert worshippers, all of them. All, even the gnomes that are in the Night Watch and the half elves. You have to be a revere St. Cuthbert to be in the Night Watch.
Okay.
If I recall correctly. Yeah. Absolutely.
Although I don't know who else you would pick.
Right. Well, yeah. But it makes total sense for that. So.
But it seems like Poultice and Cuthbert has a lot in common when it comes to being both kind of lawful and
Yeah.
kind of keep the flock in order and the devotion true and all that stuff, so to speak. So
Well,
In
go ahead.
no, I was going to say, I can't remember if it was 3rd or 4th edition. Wizards of the Coast gave St. Cuthbert one of Tretherion's portfolios of retribution, and that always irritated me.
yeah,
Why?
that because
Because Tretherion wasn't core, and for some reason they wanted retribution.
Tretherion wasn't core? Why? Tretherian's one of the best deities there is by far. I mean,
I agree.
yeah, I love him.
Tretherion,
He's
yeah,
awesome.
let's talk about
But he's-
Tretherion.
Yeah, because he's underused. He's one of the most.
I agree
underused-
100%. Not in my
Yeah.
my campaign. He's one of the top 5
Yeah. So
deities.
please tell me, Jay, what how have you used him?
Okay, so
his
Tretherion is the god of retribution and pursuit. So you get any chaotic good out there. That's the deity you go for the most part, especially if you're a hardcore.
Epitome.
My rule, my way or the highway. I'm going to go get kind of character. So you have the Narwhal Headhunters, which we're going to be going to soon and doing adventures with. They're almost all Tretherian worshippers. Most of the worshippers that are up in the north of Furiundi were all Tretherian worshippers up there when the defense during the wars. They were
Yeah.
exactly. There's a whole Tretherian sect in Greyhawk. There's an entire street where Adlug's building is. That there's an entire sorority section. Seriously, it's right in the Greyhawk box set of all Tretherian, and the bells of the worship go off and annoy everyone during the day at certain times of the day. So Tretherian is really a lot of places, and we have like some of the highest level characters we have that have come up, especially priest. Bill character Trevin, he's like 12th level, which is super high for especially priest in our campaign. So, and Bladestorm is a Tretherian worshiper too, and she's another crazy retributive type character. So they're just great. It's a great. I don't know why they'd write that deity out in 3rd or 4th edition. That makes no sense to me. Plus, they hate lawful neutral character. They hate them. They hate Fultus worshippers, Tretherian. They do not like Fultus worshippers. They do not like St. Cuthbert worshippers because they think they're too stuffy. So they don't get along with a lot of other deities, which makes it fun. So yeah, that's why I like them. They're kind of good.
Oh
but
I love him. It's one of the most interesting deities and religions in Greyhawk. So have you used him, Mike? Or clerics and his faith?
Yeah, I've used the clerics. So in my campaign, and it's somewhere on Greyhawkery, I'd have to find the link, I made up the Long Cloaks of Cristobal, which is in Perrinland. And this is like a Wild West posse of Tretherian worshippers who hunt down bounties. And that has included many a PC.
I love that.
And my players hate them because they have moral codes, and they're actually working kind of with the law but outside the law in a way, so they can't like outright kill them. They're not evil. And it's led to some really good encounters.
The way I've used them in my campaign, I'm going to use them extensively in my upcoming Shieldlands campaign too. And to me, they have several aspects. One key aspect is that they are the good mercenaries. They are the ones that if you are fighting for good, you can rent them and they will fight for you. If you're a good ruler or you're a village or someone and say that we have evil coming, you can call and they might even work for free. They will take whatever treasure and stuff like weapons and stuff to arm themselves with and so on. So they're cheap mercenaries that way, and they have moral. They only fight for good. So to speak.
7 years ago.
And that means that they are both the rulers and the high and mighty Greyhawk both love them, because especially if you're a good ruler, they will come and help you. But they also hate them because they are chaotic. They don't listen to laws and kings and follow edicts and stuff like that. They simply want to abolish evil and kill the evildoers no matter what the rules and the laws of the land, bureaucrats and bullshit like that, if there's a demon on the prowl, they will go and kill him, no matter whoever sent him, or evil ones. So they have very less principles. So one of the is that they're mercenaries that way, and they also are the kind of lone killers, the lone ranger types that goes around and by themselves, just meaning a high level. I can see that they're like the chaotic good champions now in Pathfinder 2, but the variants of paladins that simply go around and do good deeds just for the hell of it, so to speak. And so they are both an asset and a menace to rulers. So good rulers see them both as wonderful, but also problematic. So they have one of these. That's why they have very little big organized churches and stuff like that. That doesn't really, it doesn't work. They have sermons out in the field and among themselves and stuff, and they don't build institutions. They're chaotic. So they congregate and do actions and stuff. That's how I've used them.
I gotta talk more about Therian here.
Yeah.
So the deity himself is amazingly badass in that he's the summoner.
Yeah.
You know, if you have a character you want to emulate, a deity you want your character to emulate, that's one. Because he has like a hound. He hunts with. He has a falcon.
Yeah, and I usually say he can gate in solars and all sorts of cool stuff.
Yeah, so he has all these assistants, and then he has the Rod of Retribution, which is his prison plane. So if you're dealing with a particularly nasty villain, he traps them in these demi-planes. So there's a very cool god.
This is what their specialty priests get. If you this is not counting spells. This is their innate abilities. First level, they can track as rangers. So that's what's that? Don't forget the lizard.
Yeah, as a lizard. Yeah.
So they can cast.
Alligator would be better.
Yeah, they can do. They can use wizard conjuring, summoning scrolls. They may invoke conjuration magic. They can use like a wand of conjuration for summoning. And then they get multiple attacks per round at higher levels, like a fighter, but only like 3 every 2. You know, not specialization. So they get some extra abilities there for pursuit purposes and for summoning. So it's pretty good. Yeah, it's a nice deity. One of my favorites. And I don't. When you said underused, it could be underused in other campaigns, but I tend to. I like to think that.
Yeah, I try to. I mean, underused in public published sources because it disappeared in later editions.
Oh man, that's ridiculous.
Yeah. But I have another deity now that I think is also a difficult but really cool deity, and that's Bakab, the god of magic.
Yeah,
And how do you guys use him or his faith and stuff, or do you? Yeah.
I actually have a specialty priest of Bakab written up, and Bakab can be, it says they're in caring, but a lot of sages can be Bakab, right? Knowledge. He's god of neutrality, magic, arcane, and knowledge, foresight, and foreknowledge. So research is a good thing. Just magical theory. So we actually, one of Tim's believe it or not, the Pete and John from Pete and John's Teamster service is a dual class, and his second, he's a specialty priest of Fultus. I mean, of Bakab. So the uncaring, because he's into magic. So I think the true neutral is tough to play. You know, of that kind, non-druidic true neutral is difficult.
Yeah,
it's not an easy alignment to play, but that's where we have him for the guardian, the people who have knowledge as what they're interested in.
Yeah, exactly. That's how I played it too. Meaning, if you want to pursue higher knowledge and understand how the world works and so on, to be a cleric of Bakab is kind of the way to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And Bakab is a very powerful deity. Extremely powerful deity. So, but it says he rarely. He always sends Zagig wherever to go.
That's an interesting. So Zagig is his kind of
lackey.
Lackey, which is interesting because go on.
No, I was just going to say Zagig is a genius because he probably figured Bakab don't care.
So
So when he said, "Hey, can I be a god?" He's like, "Yeah, okay."
that's
Yes.
an interesting way to go. Yep.
All right, so question about Alana up here. Were they married? And does Alana require Clarks to adopt a special plant? I've never heard Alana and Paler being married anywhere.
No, I
That's
haven't.
really interesting.
No, I don't
It's-
know. If that happened
yeah.
later on in Living Greyhawk, it hasn't happened in my
Scandalous.
world.
Yeah.
Man, where were you back when I was doing the comic? That's a great scandalous story.
That's a great scandal.
That's awesome.
Dang.
That's
Now
awesome.
you have to make a new comic.
Casey's defending
Yes.
Living Greyhawk tonight vehemently. No, it's
Oh.
not LG. So
And he
that
has
is,
a lot of cool stuff to
Fanfic.
defend. That's for sure.
yeah,
Weird
fanfic
stuff.
at its best, as sure said.
Yeah.
That has not happened, Chrome Draw, anywhere that
Yeah.
I know of.
Yeah.
I don't have. I mean, whereas we had Leonard on earlier, guys. Whereas Leonard's soul deities tend to screw around with each other a lot, right? A lot of them
Yes.
do.
Yeah.
Zerbo and
Yeah.
Ouija and right. The other
Naribo and Ouija's,
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot.
From Zerbo.
all over the place. You don't get that as much with the main Horidian Pantheon.
I don't think.
No, but it's like I take the Poltus and others. I look at Catholicism and stuff a lot. So meaning that you should not be promiscuous and you should have proper family bonds and all that. I see that as kind of part of Foltus and the Pale and other cultures.
Yeah.
But go back to the old faith, I see them as they can do pretty much, and elves are like we do whatever we want kind of thing. They're chaotic and all over the place. So culturally,
I used to know all these relationship things, Jay. My memory's not as good as it used to be. I think Cornell, god of thieves, was going out with Atroa, the wind goddess,
Okay.
but dumped her because he was jealous of Zilchus's wife, Satilian.
Oh my gosh!
Ooh,
So I didn't
okay.
know Zilchus had a wife.
Mhm.
And Jormy, goddess of volcanoes and whatnot. I think she's the fiery temper,
Right.
like just a quarrel, and she was out with Zodal, her opposite.
Oh, okay.
So
So opposites
peaceful guy.
attracts in
Yeah.
deity, at least in Soul.
And there's just a
deities.
bunch of other ones, though,
Yeah.
I'm sure.
I reached out to Creighton Broadheart Seeker as well, and I haven't heard back from him either to get him on a show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a lot of
Marvelous.
difficult deity questions, and I have another one, but
Sure.
please go on if you have more.
No, let's get.
I was thinking, what about the draconic deities like Bahamut and
I've
Well,
never
remember, they're
looked
only-
into the two.
They're only
or
deities
beyond
according
the-
to Leonard, right? I mean, they're deities
Uh,
worshipped in his pantheon according to
Yeah.
him.
oh, okay, yeah.
But they're deities, I guess,
Yeah.
to
And then you have
dragons.
there is three. You have the dragon of time or whatever, the
Uh-huh.
Uber dragon. I forgot the name. It's in Draconomic in third edition. So
Someone.
yeah,
I
hang
don't
on a
know.
second. I could probably find
cool,
it here.
Casey.
But anyways, so how do you use them, or are they in? They are in.
Only the two.
Okay,
that's all I've
only
ever
the two.
used too.
Yeah, and also are they in? They're not listed in the deity section of official published Greyhawk sources, right? only
Tiamat's in the Deeds and Demigods book.
Ah, okay.
There's a
yeah.
picture. No,
Oh,
it's just a
Bahamut
picture.
too, but that is not official Greyhawk. That's official D&D.
Yeah.
Kind of. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I use them both in my campaign. So yeah.
Yeah.
It makes sense for them to, but
Mhm.
I don't know how much human or other worship they'd have. We should spend another thing on demi-human deities. We really should, because
Yeah, I've been avoiding them.
And then
All
we
right,
should
let's avoid-
spend one on dragons too.
Let's
yeah.
let's avoid them. Yeah, absolutely. Let's avoid
Yeah, but-
them for a future episode. I think that would
Okay,
be a good
yeah.
one for demi-human deities.
Yeah, yeah.
Guy Tom's right. I have a great question.
Go for it.
Okay. And I kind of jogged about my thoughts when she was talking about the dragon gods. Who would you consider, all told, with human cultural deities? Who are the overgods?
Well, Istis. You mean the overseer of all the
If
gods?
you had to rank them, who's in charge? Is this number one?
I would.
Or is it 1A, 1B? Yeah.
I
Who-
wouldn't have any particular. It depends on in each pantheon. I might have
So you would keep them separate?
Yeah, I would separate
You
them
mean between
within
Lender
the
and
pantheon.
Istis, well, here's where it falls apart. Istis, a Bakalunish goddess, affected the whole Flannes and altered it.
But that I can
So-
see that one pantheon
Those aren't
might
her worshippers.
take over, be so powerful that and like evil coming in. That's one of the problems with evil coming in, because then you might
Yeah.
have like, for instance, like the way I saw it was that the lawful evil and deviltry took over Green Kingdom,
Yeah.
and that meant that they got a huge influence over a large part of the Flannes, simply because they corrupted the rulers.
I like
of
Casey's
Green Kingdom.
answer.
Which he said that
Mhm.
I like Tharizdun is the only over god, and he went, so
Yeah.
they were through. Well, that's a possibility.
Yeah.
Which is very Greek. Like he's like the Tharizdun's a Titan,
hmm
and the Greyhawk gods are.
Well,
like
Tharizdun's a
second
sleeping
generation.
god, is the way I look
Take
at
him
it.
down.
Yeah.
He's more of a he's waiting to come back at some point. That's
Yeah.
and all the other evil gods are petty compared to Tharizdun. So, did you say you never finished the Forgotten Temple Tharizdun, Mike?
I don't think so.
You should.
I've read it,
Oh yeah, I've
but
read it
I don't
too.
think anyone's made it. I played it, but I don't think they ever got to the end.
Yeah. Wow. What a great ending that thing
Yeah.
is. Poof. I agree, Carlos, that this would be tops for me, and then
What about Beery, who is literally the planet?
Mhm.
it's kind of like the Mother Nature thing, right? That's the way I kind of look at that. It's just I
Yeah.
don't know. It's a good question. It really is.
And then
Because-
you got Lindor, who's like all time.
Yeah.
You know, can
We
do
should ask
whatever.
Len this question.
Yeah, well, we know
Yeah.
his answer.
Oh yeah, he will.
That was a
it-
funny. Do you are any other deities in Lenderell? No.
Yep, it's simple answer.
Ah, that was great. That was definitely great. All right. You had Earth Dragon questions, Aaron. I thought you wanted to get to.
Oh yes, Earth
Yeah.
Dragon is one of these I want to know more about. I'm kind of
Hmm.
curious. Yep.
Okay. The Earth Dragon.
I'm very curious.
Jay, have you used the Earth Dragon?
A lot. Because
cool.
it's the main deity of the slavers
Uh-huh.
in
Yeah.
Slavers reference.
That's as much as I know. That's it.
The Earth Dragon cult is see, and I have my own special separate book here for evil specialty priests and deities of them. So it's in this one along with the Ayus and Nerol and Erythnol and all the other crazy ones. But the Earth Dragon, is it a dragon or not? Probably not. It's probably an elemental earth natured evil tinted deity of some sort, some
If
kind
it
of evil.
was a draconic god, then dragons would worship the Earth Dragon.
Right,
and
but
they
they
don't.
don't. They don't at all. That's a good point. And the
Are
Earth
you
Dra-
sure about that?
no, not sure about it. What I love about them is the Earth Dragon priests have to go slay good aligned dragons in order to get anywhere. And they have to actually, and there's a picture that's been going around, the only Earth Dragon, because there is no Earth Dragon, there's a symbol. And instead of me finding it on there, but this is the head Earth Dragon priest, Stalman Kilim, the head of the slavers, right? All right, and there's him with his Earth Dragon skull, and it's a good aligned dragon that they actually make a helmet out of the dragon skull. So they fight with a really one of the most crazy weapons you can think of for having a priest. It's a footman's pick.
Says the dragon is in the Earth.
What's that?
Nice.
Yes, yeah,
Yes,
kind of like the
Merlin.
dragon from Excalibur power.
Yeah,
where
that's pretty cool.
He's right. He's absolutely right, and they may have stolen it from that. This is post.
Never occurred to me.
Excalibur's 8081. This is post that, so it's very
Yeah.
possible that Sean Reynolds came up with that idea. Right? He's the one
I
who
never
wrote
put
this.
that together.
They are. It's a very. Oh God, they have shamans. They have as well. So it's a very. Think of an old faith gone awry. Is the best way I can say it. Kind of,
Ooh.
and that's the way I would look at it. It's
Mhm.
kind of a base deity of some ancient power that has gone.
So
to
It's
the.
an old faith foe from old times.
That's my guess. That's my guess. That's always been, what, who knows?
I'm starting to rethink my position on the Earth Dragon now because I vaguely recall, I don't know if I made this up or if I read this somewhere, but in ancient times, did dragons go to the Palmars to die? Is that like a burial ground for
I
dragons?
think so, yeah.
That might be.
So
Yeah.
maybe the Earth Dragon has like some kind of
Yeah.
death aspect.
Here's the dogma, right? This is from the Slavers. The Earth Dragon provides. The great god is the spirit of the earth, and those who worship and obey it will be protected. The Earth Dragon knows all the secrets of the land and favors its chosen with knowledge and power. Those who worship, sacrifice, and spread the faith please the god. That's what it says. It's the dogma.
Yeah.
So, and to connect them to the Slavers, I know like some people hate it. I think it's genius actually, because it makes a little bit of sense then why that group has not been obliterated after the A series, that kind of stuff, because it's not just an organization of slavers, it's a religious organization as well.
Yeah.
So
might also explain why they keep bringing in more slaves. It's not just maybe to work the mines.
Yeah,
maybe they need sacrifices.
Absolutely. No, that happens there too. You're absolutely correct on that.
Yeah.
Plus, they have one of the coolest flying mounts there is. The Dragonels.
Oh yeah.
That's theirs, right?
Yeah. I kind of haven't given too much thought on it, but I'm starting to now when I listen to you guys and I listen to others, and I also got the new Bestiary 2 for Pathfinder 2, and there's umbral dragons in there, and they are the primal dragons that have strong ties to the prime material, to the elemental planes. So there's the umbral earth dragons, and that fits the description of elder elemental, or like the elemental, the elder earth dragon perfectly. So now I'm getting the way I'm thinking about it, but now now you got me into a future campaign. So, but one of the I'm saying that maybe that we have an ancient worm of these umbral dragons.
Good point.
Who has a nest there. And then they start worship it, and now it's becoming slightly like a quasi deity, because there's so many people that fear it and scared and so on. So you're moving up the deity ladder and just gotten a bit of powers more than a regular dragon, and it's hugely powerful in itself. And they have to gather slaves and stuff to feed the damn thing. So it's because it's getting so that I'm getting an interesting campaign to slay the damn beast now. So yeah.
It says right in there, if you get captured and you're a high-level character of good, I mean, think about it. It's only a few hundred miles away from the Principality of Ulic border. They're going to take you and they're going to throw you into that Earth Dragon pit, and that's it for you. So
and I have the ancient umbral dragon is a creature level 20, which is damn high. Yeah,
and it's a Pathfinder 2 creature, which is cool that they came up with that idea.
Yeah, so the ancient umbral, when I read the description, it fits the build perfectly.
Wonderful. Awesome.
Yeah.
I actually used the Earth Dragon in my 3rd edition campaign.
Oh, okay.
I came up with some kind of elemental thing, and this was my epic campaign, mind you. So all the characters were 25th level.
Yeah.
And the cult, the slavers, were threatening the city of Greyhawk. They were just going right up the coast, and they took it, the battle back to the Palmars, and they summoned the Earth Dragon, and we had a big duke out. It was pretty cool.
Awesome. So guys, Leonard came on again, and we discussed a lot of deities, and we always leave this. I mean, we always have a lot more to discuss. We didn't even touch the demi-human deities at all. Did not even touch them. It's just fine. Yeah, we should have them at a future time. And also, what we're going to do next week, we talked about a few weeks earlier that said we were going to do it in a couple weeks. So why don't we go over some of that stuff? So Anna, what's going on? Wow,
Well,
so it's 10 o'clock already. Wow,
yeah,
it's
so
flew
so
by.
it's yeah. For me, it's the Atlas that is still.
Mhm.
We're going to have a meeting tomorrow night again, and I posted
Cool.
on the
Yeah.
Flemish Geographical Society some of the like screenshots. So it's starting to get there, and now I have the where the page is supposed to go. So I'm going to export out the different ones, and so we can start the research on getting all the settlements and start listing all the stuff that will go into the settlement list and the features list on each of the spread maps. So that's the big thing, and this is a huge project that will take months to get done. So that's the
Your
so
dog.
it's kind of boring because that I will get bored with the project from now time to time. So I will kind of spend a day or two now and then do other cool stuff in between that I'm not really sure what that will be, just to get something else to do. But the Atlas is the big thing at the moment to get that out. So out the door. And the good thing with it is not that nothing will happen for 3 months and then it will all pop out. So I will, as each spread and each map gets done, it will be published, so to speak, piece by piece. So that means that it will be, you can, and also that is part of the quality assurance. So I will fairly soon publish the first kind of release candidate, so people can start comment on them and say that, oh, we don't like it that way or whatever. So we can kind of halt the production and say that we need to change certain features and stuff because people don't like it. So
Uh,
but that's the big thing coming.
Asher said will be available in POD. How's the Atlas going to be available?
No, yeah, it will be. What I will do is that I will provide the PDF and JPEG. So it will come in basically 3 formats. One will be a PDF with the bleed and margins. So if you want to take it to a print shop or do a print online somewhere, it will have the bleed and like a 1/4-inch bleed around it and margins. So you can make it into a bound, like spiral bound, or you can make it into a fully bound book. And simply send them all the PDFs. So go to your print shop and simply say, I want to have all these pages bound, spiral bound, or bound into a book. That's one of the formats. So that's one of the PDF that way. And then some people will simply say, I want to print page by page or a few pages on my home printer, because the format will be 11 by 17. So inches. So then there will be a version without the bleed, so you can easily just take the PDF and print the PDF on your home printer and print them out 11 by 17. And then it will be half the map on each of them. And then there will be a JPEG for digital use that will simply be the 2 pages put together with no margins in the middle and no margins on the sides. That will be for digital use that you can just look at on your tablet or your opening Windows or Mac or whatever. So those 3 formats will be. So it will be PDF for the 2 print versions, and then JPEG for digital use.
Perfect.
Yep.
And then I will be getting together to start doing some edits to
Yes.
for
Mhm.
Order of Hewlett campaign for 579,
Mhm.
576 map. I'm sorry. We'll
Yep.
get back that all updated, and because we got some stuff that's happened that I want to add, and for Blue Box coming in and doing some of their stuff in my campaign as well. We want to get that up to date.
Yep.
And it'll be a blast because I'm going to add some things that maybe, hopefully, add 1 or 2 things that no one will go, "What the hell's that?" So yeah, we're going to get some of that. So
Yeah. Hang on a second. I think I have mine. I've cleaned up here too, so I can
whoops.
prove
Yeah,
that I have it too. Yes.
yes.
I can prove that
Yeah.
I bought the copy too. Yep. I bought a PDF copy as well, so I have both PDF and print.
We are KC'd up already, which is
Yep.
very
Mhm.
important.
Yep.
So
Yep.
I'm just fixing something. I just realized that I had a bizarre number under the Fowler goal, 300 above the goal, which made no sense. So I had a mistake there. All right, Mohe, what's going on?
Well, first off, Casey, which one is you? Which one's Brit?
That is awesome.
Yep. It's yep.
What do I got going on? Well, I'm still working on my 2E war blog posts, and I'm running into a point now where my data is like shrinking, and I'm having to create more narrative to tie together all the information and have it make any sense, and it's becoming more and more work.
Ooh.
So I've kind of slowed down on that.
That's an
And,
amazing series of
Yeah.
articles. You've had so many. I feel like I
great.
love to run political campaigns, but you
Yeah.
really beat me to the game here.
and then to do the
It's
maps
awesome.
on top of it, I'm really enjoying using your maps.
Yeah,
And
so
trying
cool.
to do the
Yeah.
arrows and things.
Mhm.
So trying to make sense of it is really taxing my brain. So I took a break and I put that comic together today just for old time's sake.
Oh, now I have to see that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Definitely, things are rolling along. Got anything else,
Another
Mike?
one?
That's it. You good?
You know, I feel like I should have something else going on, but
That's okay.
you know, I was this will probably never happen, but I was twiddling in my head the other day. I had this out. This is
Aha.
probably my favorite non-AD&D book right here.
Okay.
Dungeons and
And
basic.
it's the
Okay, yeah,
companion
okay.
set.
Companion, yeah.
Yeah, that has the domain rules, my favorite, and the war machine rules.
Mhm.
I've used this book. This book is like held together with, you know,
It's that
with
it
tape.
means it got its use.
Yeah. And I want to break it out again. I want to like give my players a small domain to run. I want to do something like that. But it's in the back
Politics
of my head.
is a fun part of the game.
Yeah.
I want to give them like a piece of the hold of the sea princes, and just see what my players come up with.
Cool.
Then the Scarlet Brotherhood invades.
No.
And then they invade, and then they kill them all.
Oh, that's just wrong.
Yeah.
That is so
I
wrong.
just had to. I just had to.
No, that's good.
Yeah.
Awesome, but yeah, man. Yeah. All right. So you see, we have a meeting on Saturday for a virtual Greyhawk Con discussion. We're working on that moving forward. So you know, there's the dates. Mark it all first weekend in October, guys. First week. Yeah, it was a nice village till the Scarlet Brotherhood came. Yep, Bill. That's exactly it. So please note that down. We're going to get there. We're going to be advertising hopefully within like a month for this. We just got to work out some of the nuts and bolts. All right. Tomorrow night we continue Adventure 879. Hopefully finish at the Portal Master. It's a little bit higher level, like 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th even. We got to put Hearthguard Tower in the Lord Mill Mountains somewhere, Anna. That's one of them. Well, that's of course if they successfully liberate the tower.
Update the map next week.
Yeah, tomorrow night, as long as they actually are
that's
successful.
True. Then we can have it ready for Friday, so you know which way to go.
Yeah, definitely. Or if they're not successful, then you don't have to worry about that. And then
Saturday
is Tim City State back on again after a little, every couple weeks. That is Saturday night, a Saturday night special where I get to play. Yay! So Tim will be DMing, which is always a scary thing. You never know how scary it's going to be this time. But yeah.
Keep all your wiggly bits in.
Keep them all. Keep your tongue in your mouth.
Oh, yes, the wiggly bits, yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. And then Monday night, someone called me lazy, Josh. But we did mid-level adventuring, so we're going to do high-level adventuring in Greyhawk on Sunday, and we're going to talk about, besides these, and it'll be us, Anna, myself, and Jason again.
Oh, that's going to be a catastrophe.
Yeah, I'm there, so we'll definitely.
we're gonna talk about third-party and regular ones. Yeah.
Okay.
And Carlos Adventures is Marquesa Adventures as well. Carlos says he has something else for us. For that, I want to get with him and see what he has in mind. But Dark Tower is part of that discussion. Fortress Elendar, even Tegel Manor is another good. There's a lot of them, man, outside of our own realm. So. And that'll be there. You go, Carlos. You get with me on that, man. If you want to hop in, if you got nothing to do,
you should definitely be there rather than me.
You want to come on,
Both
man?
Mike
Let me
and
know,
Carlos
man.
should be there instead of me. So
open invitation if you're not working, man, to come on and participate in this discussion with us because it's going to be a fun one. Talking about all these Ravager of Time, Tim. Absolutely, they're all in the Wall of Fame. Tomb of Horrors. I mean, they're all there. So next week. I can't. Remember we did Artifacts and we said we didn't even touch this book.
Oh.
All right. Well, next Sunday on Wednesday on Legends of the Lore, we're going to touch this book. The Wonders of Greyhawk Adventures. We're going to talk about this book. We're going to talk about the items in this book. We're going to talk about the spells in this book, the stories in this book, the deities. Maybe talk about some other items and some other things like Mike has in detail his Greyhawk Wars special magic items. We're going to talk about, they don't have to be artifact level. We're going to talk about a lot of named things in this book. This book is awesome. So, yes, kick ass. Exactly. So, that's what we're going to do next week. We're going to discuss all the cool things in that book. And hopefully everyone will enjoy that one. And then, Casey, I have it. Just give me 1 second. Sunday, a week from Sunday, miniatures and terrain discussion. The week after, that'll be Mike Disney, Brian Sublime, Bill and Master Crafter about how to start miniatures and terrain and tabletop play. Yes, it'll be a very how-to. Bill's going to share some of his tricks with you guys. So, and some painting ideas and some, yes, this will be a really good one. This is a rescheduled one that we had to cancel, but Mike Disney's coming on. He's a great painter. Everyone knows that. So we'll have 3 great guests. Oh, what? No, you're not? You're not going to share your tricks? Yes, you are. Come on, man. Because you got taught them from someone else. You're going to pass the knowledge along like you should. Special other shows. Where is it? All right. A week from Saturday, June 6th, another Saturday night special. I'm going to put the entire Blue Box cast that's starting the new Greyhawk campaign through their session 0/1, and it's an introduction to Greyhawk Hamlet. It's not Hamlet the Adventure. The adventure starts in Hamlet that I'm running. So I'm going to have a lot of Hamlet out in the map, so that'll be cool. I already have it all set up, ready to go, except for the terrain. Oh, yeah. First levels in my world. That's why I asked that question about the one character. The Greyhawk Wild Elf Druid's going to be a part of that group.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And then lastly, Casey's waiting for this. The name of the venture, Casey, is A Very Simple Request. Instead of that conspiracy thing. So the next Living Greyhawk adventure, which is Saturday, June 20th. A Very Simple Request.
Somehow I didn't think it won't be.
So we'll have 5 members from the Living Greyhawk group back, and Anna taking Ronald Dean's place.
I'm an honorary
she's going to
Greyhawk.
She's going to play a Ranger Mage instead of they're going to lose their specialty priest of Paylor, the Halfling, and gain a Ranger Mage, an Elven Ranger Mage out of that. So there you go. So which shield is that on the right? Oh, I don't know. What shield is that, Casey? I don't know. Does anyone know what shield that is on the right? We discussed it in heraldry a little bit.
That was, Mm-hmm.
Oh, crap. Yes. You'll have to wait and see.
You have to ask Jay about that.
You have to ask me which one it is. It's in my campaign. There you go.
Well, surely it's the Axe, Arrow, and Sword Guild?
Yeah, that is a spear in the middle, by the way.
Spear?
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah. It's actually the Iron Brigade's logo. And a member of the Iron Brigade is going to send the group of conspiracy theorists on a very simple request and a very simple task. Mm-hmm. And he's actually on tonight watching the one whose character it is that's going to do the adventure. So it's there. Just do what I say. Exactly, Bill. I'm hoping that Bill actually on to role play that out. So it's his character that's doing it. Yeah. So there you go. All right. Is he evil? No, he's just chaotic stupid. There's a big difference. An evil NPC already with a conspiracy theory. Oh yeah, that's right. This character tried taking the entire. This character tried to take the world over once. I forgot to mention that when he donned an evil crown.
Evil.
Yeah. Well, you don an evil crown, and you get taken over by it. The crown itself. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So there you go. Anna will be exposed to the conspiracies. Absolutely, guys. Thanks for a great night. Another great show. Thank you, Leonard, for hopping on.
Yep.
We try to accommodate Leonard as much as we can when he hops on, guys. So please note that we appreciate that. Just to think we had the person on who made up almost half those deities discussing them tonight is amazing.
Only more of the old guard like that.
Yeah, only wish.
Yep.
Hey, well, here's the thing. Carlos had Jim Ward on his show. We should see
if we can get him on.
see if Jim would come on for a half hour.
Yeah.
To discuss his book. But
definitely.
I don't have that relationship, unfortunately, with him. So, but I could reach out. You never know. So, All right, guys. We'll see you soon. See you tomorrow night for a pretty cool game. Hopefully, we'll finish it. I'm gonna try and push through tomorrow night to get it complete. Oh, and in about a month, we're gonna start a new group of firsts. To decided, screw it. I don't care about the COVID thing. We're gonna start it. We're gonna start the group in Narwhal first levels. So,
Cool.
Yep, that'll be a blast as well. All right, see you guys soon. I got my son coming in. We're done.
Dun dun dun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it probably was. Yeah. No, I wasn't.
Ooh.
Yes. Thank you. Thanks, Rox. Thanks.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, everyone. Yeah.
And I'm sweaty, man. I got the air on and everything. I'm sweating. Crazy. That was a good one. It's amazing when you get done one, you're like, oh my god, we didn't even scratch the surface on this, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's all right. Crumdrop, we talk over we do this on purpose.
Yep.
That's shtick, man.
Yep.
Audio is still on.
Yeah. So we know that. That's why we don't say anything. Yeah. I'm the one that misspeaks on this show more than everybody else.
I'm looking to see who I haven't rated.
Yeah. You have someone to some channel. You can see who's on the list, I guess.
Who's on Wizards of the Couch? Anyone know?
They had Eric Frankenhaus a little while ago, I think.
It says on here. Let me just pop it over to this. It says Shadow of the Arena Session 4 with 6 free Norse Founder dice.
It might just be the awesome regular crew on Wizard of the Couch that talk about something cool.
If Jimmy's on, I'm going to go over to Wizards because I think Jimmy's over there. We'll go over to Wizards of the Couch.
Yeah.
Which is Jimmy, Duffy, their Praetors. I think, let's go over to that one, guys. Here, so see if we can do this. Wizards of the Couch. I spelled Wizards wrong. That's great on this laptop. Thank you. Worked. Yeah, good. So Duff's playing the game there. All right, that's cool. We'll do that one. All right, sending it over, guys. And it was a little late, but that's all right. Thank you for a great night. It's going over. Get over there. I always hit the wrong damn buttons to get over there in time to see their actual rate over. Stupid. Channel. So that was pretty cool.